Welcome to the Small Business Bootcamp Podcast, a show that gives lifetime solutions for your business and business solutions for your lifetime. I'm Corey Tucker. I'm here with Megan and Jen today. We are joined by a very special guest. Her name is Heather, and she is our cheer department leader. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Doing great. I'm glad to have Heather with us.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so we like to start these podcasts off with a nice softball warm-up question. So that question is, if you could learn one new personal skill, I don't want to relate it to professional, a new personal skill, what would it be?
Okay. I've always really wanted to sing, like to be able to sing, but I cannot sing.
Maybe
I love
Corey
music.
can teach you to sing.
Everybody can sing. You just move your voice up and down.
Yeah, everybody can sing. It's like everybody can wear a bikini. It may be good, it may be bad.
Have you ever?
You have a bikini body. You have a song.
You have a sing in our bikinis?
I mean,
you have a singing voice. You have a bikini body. You can do it, girl.
Oh,
I can.
wow.
Anyone can sing, right?
You just move your voice up and down.
Oh, my movement.
All right, let's hear it.
Corey may not sing.
Let's hear it. So we started a podcast.
That is also one of my biggest fears would be to be asked to sing in front of
Well,
someone.
Jen
You can
sang on the
sing.
last podcast.
Yeah.
I did.
Did
and
you?
I also don't sing because my mom told me I was tone deaf.
Well, let me tell you the story about my fourth grade when I tried out for the play. And I sang Mary Had a Little Lamb because that's what they asked us to do. And I think I was about the only person that didn't make it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you could sing the
that's
Tumblebee
part of
song.
it.
In fourth grade, they cut you from the choir?
It wasn't a choir. It was a musical. And yes, I got cut.
You couldn't even be in the choir.
You know
That's
what?
where they put everyone else is the
That's
choir.
why I did band and I was first chair. Thank you.
It built some resilience.
She can't
Something like
sing,
that.
but she sure can cheer.
In a fear of singing in front of people.
So you just started yelling instead of singing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
She found her calling when she couldn't sing. She yelled.
You should thank those teachers. Look what happened.
Thanks, Miss Miller.
You even remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
Of course she
Well,
does.
she had an impact on her.
And she lived on my street.
Oh,
Oh.
So
to see her
your whole
after
career-
she-
doggone it.
Your whole school career?
No,
Okay.
elementary. So
right.
first grade to sixth grade.
So you saw her. She
Uh-huh.
rejected me. That every time you saw her, that kind of went through your
So
head.
after that trauma, you
Yeah,
still
'cause
want to learn to sing.
I really liked her class and I liked her. And then I just wasn't good enough. I didn't have any qualms with her. I realized I wasn't a singer.
Oh boy. Are you applying that question to all of us? I really just enjoyed listening to her.
Me too. I say let's jump right in. You
Okay.
know?
Well, Heather, we wanted to bring you on because I feel like your story, both as a cheer coach and as a parent at Kids First, is a really powerful story of empowerment and growth and just adapting to the changes that you see happening around you. And so we're just really happy to get to talk to you today and share your story. So jumping in, I want to tell us a little bit about, we got to hear a little bit about young Heather. Can you tell us a little more about your story? Tell us about young Heather. What was she like and how to, just start there. Tell us about
How
young
long is
Heather.
this podcast? I grew up in a very small town. I had an older brother, but he was 9 years older. So
Okay.
I technically call myself the oldest sibling. He's technically my half brother, but he's my brother. We don't really say half brother. So I was the rule follower. I was the person babysitting. I was the person making sure the house was clean before my mom came home from her second job. And so that was like young Heather. We played outside all the time. We got whistled at to come in when it
You're the
was
good
getting
old
dark
dog
out.
Whistler.
Mm-hmm. The other neighbor, Randy would whistle and we'd know to come in. I always wanted to be a cheerleader,
Okay.
but financially it just wasn't something that we could do.
Yeah.
So when I made seventh grade, which I don't know how I did, I couldn't tumble. I had no tumbling. My Herky was probably the shining moment, which looking back now was probably terrible, but I made it. I have no idea. I mean, I made some.
Because of your positivity and you're just
I would hope.
aura.
I don't know. Maybe. I guess. I don't really remember being that positive kid, but my mom always did say, like, Heather, there's just something about you. There's an aura about you. And which I always thought was really sweet for her to say that, because it wasn't like our family said, I love you all the time, or like tons of hugs. My dad was a farmer. My mom worked really hard and it just wasn't the way we did things. So it wasn't until later on when my grandma had passed on my dad's side, and my grandpa was not doing well. And he said, "I love you." And we were all just so thrown off because he was a very strict farmer, And so then we all started doing it. And it kind of became a joke with my dad, like, "Love you, Dad." And we just keep saying it until he said it back. And now we all do that and we hug each other and all that stuff, which is all great. But that just wasn't a part of my childhood. So then I guess we're at 7th grade, made cheerleading, made some new friends. This is when all 3 schools are like merging together into one. And I really gravitated toward the girls that I made the team with. Mm-hmm. And I just fell in love with it. We started practicing the gym that's like right across the street from the high school. My coach was Linda Stott. She's amazing. She was really my second mom.
Okay.
Because I tried to be there as much as possible. I'd ride my bike there and just stay there as much as I could. And then freshman year, all my friends were like, "You should do All-Stars." I was like, "I really want to be a Laker," because that was the team name. "I really want to be a Laker, but I don't know if I can."
Okay.
And so I talked to Linda, and she hired me as a staffer, as a coach. And then I joined the team. I don't know if I tried out or whatever, but I joined my freshman year. And it was kind of, I guess, I don't know what you say, like that was my thing. Like I cheered. I tried soccer when I was in 1st grade. That was terrible. I was horrible at it. I wanted to quit. My mom said I couldn't quit until the end of the season, which that's good. That's a good quality, but I did not like it. Cheerleading I've always been born, I think, to cheer.
Let me ask you something.
So cliche. Oh my gosh.
So when you found
That's
cheer,
the name of this podcast. Born to Cheer.
I like that. Born to Cheer.
Awesome.
Not sing.
You
so many different things on that one. Like
right.
Cheerleader, cheer people on, encourage. Yeah.
So when you were a student, what did you find in cheer? What was it community? What was the thing that really drew you to cheer? You can remember that aha moment.
I had a lot of friends. Like it was a good time. Like we had fun working hard and trying to like hit goals, but just being around each other.
It sounds like it became your second family. Like your second home.
Yeah.
You described the coach as a second mom.
Uh-huh.
These girls were your friends. So it seems like you just found a second home with cheerleading.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And so fast forward that to how did you end up at Kids First as the cheer DL?
That's a fun story.
I want to hear it.
Okay.
I wasn't around. Jen was, but I wasn't.
So I was graduating at University of Toledo, sales and marketing, and my friend who was here at the time, Sean Cotterman, said, "Hey, you should come down and you should coach." And I'm thinking to myself, my mom would not like the fact that I'm going to be coaching. No, not being a pharmaceutical sales rep, because that's where the money's at. But I was like, you know what? I can just do it as a side job and it'll be fine. Well, I stepped into this building and I stepped into the big gym because that's where the cheer floor used to be. And I thought, holy moly. My gym was 1 floor, tumble track on the side, 3 or 4 beams, a big trampoline, and 2 sets of bars. That was our gym. Mm-hmm. And then this was, I just had never seen anything like it before in my entire life. And the kids were really nice. The coaches, I knew them from doing UCA for so many years with them. And so I said, yeah, I want to do this. And Sherry Stoltz said, okay, so she hired me, I think technically. And then it was not long. I can't remember, maybe a month or 2 or something like that, that Sean needed to go back to Cleveland to renew his teaching license. And that's what he was going to pursue. And he was the department leader. Mm-hmm. So Sherry's like, I think you could do it. Like, I have no idea
and
what.
You've been here like 2 months.
I don't think I had been here yet. I had come prior to.
And you were just planning to come in and coach and maybe then find your feet as a pharmaceutical sales.
Yes. And when she was talking to me, and if you know Sherry Stoltz, she talked me right into it. And I was like, yes, I do. I want to do this. I can do it.
Your sales and marketing degree didn't read the sales on that one.
No, I had no idea what I was doing, but I felt like I could do it after talking to her.
Sherry could sell ice to an Eskimo.
That's very true. So I'll never forget my first Cheerios class. I had no plan, zero.
I remember it.
Do you remember? I went out there and I probably maybe had 5, maybe tops, 4 and 5, 6-year-olds. It was every 2 minutes I'm bouncing from one place to another in the big gym because I don't want to do that. I'm bored. I'm thinking, oh man, I need a plan.
No group management, no plan.
No plan. I thought, I got this. I did not. I did not have that.
Yet you stayed.
So right after that, I planned. I had made some lesson plans.
I think I just remember you saying, that was terrible.
Yeah, I did not do a good job. I feel bad for those kids. I was pretty much babysitting because they didn't want to do anything that I thought, oh, they're in cheer. They want to learn how to do cartwheels and forward rolls and high V's and low V's and jumps and no. So that's how I started. And then that was classes. Let's just give it a little talk about the team. So
walk me how old are you when you get this? Like 22, 23?
23, because I did what I call the 5 years victory lap at college. Okay. So I was
what year was
super senior?
2005. That's when I came down here. Okay. Yeah, so 23, I guess. Maybe turning 23.
Okay.
Oh man. A baby.
You were just a baby. Wow. Okay. So then I go into a meeting to talk to the like Sean's going to introduce me. But I had not known that he did not tell them yet.
I've heard you tell this story.
So he hasn't told anyone. So I'm sitting with, and this is like a senior team. So they're older, junior high school kids. And he drops this bomb and I'm standing there. He's like, and this is going to be your new coach, Zumi. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the girls are crying. They're a mess because he's been with them for, I don't know how long he was here, but he made a huge impact. Like that's just Sean. And here I am, Zumi. They don't know who I am, walking in like, hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. And they're like, we don't care. We want Sean to stay. That's how, there's just tears all over the room. I felt horrible, but here I am, still here.
Yeah. Those were just part of those little
it's just funny.
Starts.
Yeah, it's just, I have a good start story.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the cheer program. Just talk about the scope of maybe what under your umbrella now and what it's grown to. Not necessarily the enrollment numbers, but just what does Heather do at Kids First?
Okay. Well, I'll start with Tumblebees because that's kind of part of what I do. It's not underneath my umbrella per se, but I just absolutely adore working with the campus kids in Tumblebees. They're just cute, and I've been doing it for so many years now that now I'm getting siblings, and these siblings are now also graduating and going into kindergarten, and they're third kids coming in. It's just really neat. It's fun. But underneath the cheer umbrella, we have Just Tumble, which is a progressive tumbling skills class, which we just focus on, guess it? Tumbling. So in our program, we do very beginner, like learning forward rolls, all the way up till they get a back handspring somewhere. And that could be trampoline, down the cheese, sometimes on the floor. And then they go into the big gym. And that was a transition we made, I think now 2 years ago, because before that, everything was on us. So we had kids that could full and all that stuff. But we knew that the big gym had equipment that we just didn't have. Pits, tumble tracks, rod floor. So we wanted, one, for safety, and two, like it's the best way to learn, those kind of skills. And we're blessed enough to have that here. So when they get a back handspring, they go into the big gym. So that's under Girl Gym Jam. We also have Cheerios, and that's 4 and 5-year-olds, 45 minutes class. I feel like I've got it nailed down now.
You got it now. Yeah.
Since 05.
It's 20 years.
20 years.
19 years. You got it, girl.
That's probably one of my favorite groups.
It's adorable.
Yeah. I think I just gravitate towards those young kids. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can relate to them more. I don't know, because I'm a kid. I'm a kid myself. And they do motions, jumps. We work on stunt stands. They do tumbling. So a little bit of everything, which makes sense because they like to
move around.
They can't stay on one thing so too long. They're 4 and 5. And then we also have our competitive team. We have two sides of that. We have our prep team, which is half year, and that starts in October. And then we have full season that's year round. We also have dance, hip hop. We've done Palm, but currently we're just working with hip hop. We also have full season there, and we have prep there as well.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to think. We started show team this year, which was really big hit and a lot of fun. So they come in for 2 months, and then we're teaching them a routine, and then they perform it at the end. But
And these are from a local school, right?
Yeah, that's how we started
doing it.
Yeah, I think we've opened up the last session, which I really liked.
So it's just like an 8-week show team class.
Yeah.
And at the end, they do a performance.
Yes.
It's adorable.
And those have been incredibly popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It was a good move.
I love that because a lot of I like to create routines, but I'm not somebody that's going to create a high level, intense full season routine, but I can handle a prep or a show team.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's just getting to know more people. And we started with Kings, which is our school district. So I got to meet a lot of the families that are in our district where the girls go to school. There's just there's 3 or 4 schools. So
yeah, I love the community aspect of it now that you've gotten it started with the different schools. This might be a little bit of a turning the page a little bit, but what is the biggest misconception about the cheer industry?
So I think the biggest misconception about cheer is it's rah-rah, especially all-star cheer. That's what I hear a lot. Be like, oh yeah, rah-rah, that's fun. I'm like, no, that's not what we do. We lift athletes, we tumble. It's a fast-paced routine that they do. And I also think that it's for just girls. And we see that because we typically have mostly all-girl teams. And I think there's one other thing, but I'm trying to pinpoint. I think those are probably the top 2 for real.
Okay. So what would you say for you at Kids First right now with your role as a cheer DL? What are some of the biggest challenges that you face from a business standpoint, or, with staffing or kids or programming? What are the challenges facing you now?
I think right now it's an easy question to answer because we're going through tryouts.
Okay.
And being the kind of person that I am, losing kids, we are in an area that we have so many different programs around us. And it's very easy to, we tried it, now we're going to try it over here. Or, we've had kids that have been with us for a while that want to go to, because our gym is smaller, to a big gym. And that is hard because you've had them since they were really young and they're like your kids to you. So I have a big heart, and it makes me sad to see athletes leave. However, the last couple years, I feel like my mindset has changed to, if that's what they feel like they need, then I'm going to support them and I'm going to be happy for them. Because I never want to lose a relationship with them. So if I shift my mindset, then hopefully we can stay connected. Hopefully, if that's the situation, we get the respect of letting us know, in advance. But that's probably the hardest thing.
What was that shift like? Did you have to sit down with yourself and have that conversation, or what was that process like?
It was more like a personal life shift, and it just kind of came with it. I think I realized that I can only do so much, and it's going to happen. It happens every single year. We get people, we lose people. It just happens. And I just needed to be able to kind of let that go and be okay with it, so I can be focused and ready for the next group that's coming in. Because that wasn't fair for them. I was really thinking about the past. So I can't dwell on the past. And I think, too, I started more, going to church more and going into a small group with women that were just really supportive of me and taught me that, you can't dwell on the past. It's now, and then you think about the future. And whatever happens is going to happen, and it's supposed to happen that way. And all you can do is kind of pray about it and do the best with it, what you can.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Yeah. So
I liked watching that happen for you. I think Megan and I both, it was a complete transformation of you and you wore it on your face and your demeanor.
Yeah.
And I think that has trickled into the way that you run that department and engage with your staff and your families. If I'm looking for a cheer program for my kid, what is different about Storm than all of those other programs that you alluded to that are in this area?
Mm-hmm. I think that we have this, everybody uses the word family, and it's used very loosely. But I truly feel that we are a family. Like, if there's somebody that's struggling, you wouldn't even believe how these parents will come together to support them. I mean, when I used to be the one kind of pushing that, but it's them now. I mean, and not to talk about anything personally, but it's really fun to see that. It's really nice to see that because we will support our own and we will support each other. I think that's the big one. Another one, and this is more of a recent thing that I've heard, that we know our kids. We know them.
Yep.
We know their quirks. We know their name. We know their family's name. We know stuff about their family, what they like to do outside of cheerleading or dance. And and it's not just me, all of my staff do it. And they want to be a part of their life.
Mm-hmm. They put the kid first. Really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I do want to step back just for a minute into kind of the real of a few years ago. And you alluded to it. There was a point a few years ago of you wanting to step away, I know you don't want to talk about that, but just there was a lot you talk about the lost athletes.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of it was just a really hard time in your cheer life. Probably it seemed to me like the hardest point you'd come to at that point in your career, maybe in personal, so what pivots did you make? What did you see? What did you change within the program? And I know a lot of it also had to do with you.
Yeah.
But walk us through that just a minute, because you were ready to walk away. You were like, my girls are getting into school. I want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this anymore. Just this has gotten really, really hard.
Yeah.
Because we had a couple big kind of mega gyms jump into our Cincinnati area, and it was like the big shiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people wanted to leave, and you're like, this is killing me.
It wasn't only that they wanted to leave, that they did.
There was a little bit of a exodus.
Yes. We had lost about a third of our program. That was very damaging. I think also the reputation, we had been growing and doing so well. And then we did great at Summit, and you think that people are going to stay because of that. That's not why they stayed. Mm-hmm. Or that's not why they stay.
Yeah.
So
there was a lesson in there. I feel like
there was a lesson in there. So we decided this was a night that we were in our condo as adult coaches, and we were hanging out. I'll just say that. Mm-hmm. And we decided, you know what? We're all kind of done with the pressure and the intensity of having to get a bid to take at that point we were talking about our graduating seniors to Florida. Mm-hmm. And because it had been really hard the last 2 years. And so we heard about this new, route or circuit that we wanted to try. But we had never gone anywhere else. Mm-hmm. It was very scary.
Sure.
We didn't know if our parents would be on board with it, all those things. So we said, you know what, we got to do something that makes us happy to coach, because obviously that makes a difference on those kids. Yeah. And we were just coaching to get them to Summit. We weren't enjoying ourselves. We weren't really doing what we say we're going to do, which is be a family and get to know each other. And there was less of that.
There was less away from that.
Yeah.
For the Summit.
Yeah. And the pressure of keeping people happy because they, Yeah. So that was a major pivot. There was other personal things in my life that unknowingly was affecting me.
Sure.
In my my professional work. And it was so weird how that just changed everything.
It was clear, I think, to Jen and I when that switch happened. Mm-hmm. Because quite honestly, we were looking for a cheer deal.
Yeah,
Not because we wanted to lose Heather, but because you were like, I just don't, I'm going to do this season and I think I need to step back.
You had talked about your transition plan.
And it was like, we had a meeting, I don't know the time frame, 3-6 months later, and it was like a totally different Heather sitting in front of us. It was like your mind was clear. You knew where you wanted the team to go, what vision you had for your staff, and how you guys wanted to coach and how you guys wanted to come and be present for the athletes and everything that they had going on besides get to Summit.
Right.
And it was really transformative and powerful, quite honestly.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, actually. So you saw your program changing and you were resistant at first, and then you watched it change and you said, hey, how do I lead this charge? What was that? I mean, because is that the process almost?
I really think it was more that my twin girls were going to be in kindergarten all day. And I had never had an evening off. And I mean, you're busy all weekends. And so in my head, I'm thinking, I'm never going to see them. And I like hanging out with my kids. I miss them when they're at school. So I couldn't figure out, how am I going to make this work? Like, how am I going to see them? How am I going to make our relationship still good? So that was, I would say, like the main focus. The stress and, I don't want to say dealing with the parents, but because that's not it's not dealing with the parents, but that kind of pressure from parents was a lot on me. And I kind of was just done. That's the best way to put it. Like, I was done with it. Like, I didn't want to deal with it. I love coaching, but I didn't like that side of it. And, but it's the grace of God, honestly. I was able to figure out a way to get a weeknight off, which again, I had never had ever, because your job is after school to 9, that's just how it is. And, that made it a lot better. And I think I asked for my job back.
You did.
Before the girls went to kindergarten, but the pivot had already happened in my personal life. And I knew there's nothing I could have done to change for those athletes to stay. But I really did just say it, this is what's happened. What else I'm going to do? We're changing our circuit path. So now we can have fun with these athletes. And that's what we did. So our program shrunk, like I said, a third. And we started doing
your team program shrunk, but
team program, yes. Our tumbling classes continue to just
explode.
Yeah. And so for our team kids, because those are the ones that I spend the most time with, we started doing something on Thursdays as a whole program. So even cheer and dance came together on Thursdays, and every week was themed, and we did certain team bonding things together. And I think for me, that made me feel like, okay, I can do this. Like, we're going to get through this. We're going to be just fine. We are a family. These people that decided to stay, I don't want to get emotional, but they decided to stay because they love what we're doing. And so every banquet, it's, you're celebrating those seniors in your teams. But just this last banquet, one of my seniors that I had when she was 2 years old, and her grandma would bring her, and she would run around in tumblebees, and I'd just always be like, I feel so bad for that grandma. That girl is spicy. She's just running around. She's doing her own thing. Well, Miss Belzdale just graduated, so I've known her, like I said, since she was 2. Her grandma came up to me and she gave me a hug. She said, never forget what you do for these kids. And I didn't even cry the whole banquet. And then I was just crying, because you do forget, because you always focus on the negative or what you need to change or how to make it better, keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. But it's nice to think about, you've made an impact on these kids' lives. That's so huge.
What's really cool about that story? Everything around you was changing, and you took a look at it and said, hey, I think I can get in front of that. There's this book I read as a new professional called Who Moved My Cheese? And your story embodies when your business changes, when your personal endeavors change, how does that affect my business? How can I come around that? So I think that's a powerful, powerful lesson that you're sharing with people. So thank you for that.
And from the outside looking in, I think you transformed your personal life, the program as a whole. But I think in youth sports, we can get, especially competitive, highly competitive youth sports, we get really focused on that end goal. And then we feel like we're being pushed by the club down the road or the cheer program across town and the parents. And the more that's invested by the family, the higher that expectation is. And I just remember it coming to a head with you. And you had this pressure that you put on yourself that you also felt from the parents and maybe from Megan and I indirectly, I don't know. But you also had your kids that you weren't sure how to balance all of it. And whatever that time frame was that Megan referenced, that 3 or 6 months, when you took a step back and you looked at what were you trying to offer versus what did the program need and what did our families need? If you're here in this cheer program, as if you're a part of Storm, this is the product that you're getting now. And it is such a balanced blend of competition and dedication and commitment with that gentle nurturing and development of the whole child. And it has that 4 year, if you look back 4 years ago, that program was running on fumes, your fumes of what you weren't doing right in your mind. And it's completely changed.
Yeah.
And while you still feel that pressure because it's a competitive sport, it's balanced pressure.
Yeah. I'm more, now that I've went through it, I know what getting caught up in that will do to me. Yeah. And I never want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
Because I know I wasn't a good mom. And that's my number one job.
Yep.
So I want to shift to that. I feel like you have been an employee of Kids First for almost 19 years. Isn't that cool?
I know.
But you've also been a Kids First parent now for 7 years. So you have your beautiful twin girls. And so now you're a Kids First parent. So how has that changed, your experience at Kids First from being an employee to being a parent? What has that changed for you? What have you seen? How have you seen things differently? Or what, maybe, I don't know, let you talk. Like, well, how has that changed for you?
There's a lot of things that come to mind. A few key ones. One, just working here and seeing as coworkers, like how they parent, or even the clients, how they parent, has really helped me to see what works and what doesn't work. And also, one thing is not going to work on each of your children.
Sure.
If you know my twins,
very different little girls.
They're very different. So that has helped me a lot. It's almost like I've been training for 15 years here to have kids. Sure. And I don't knock it out of the park, but I love it. I really enjoy it. I love being a mom. The first time I did tumblebees, and the girls were older, because the first time they ever did tumblebees, kind of yacked all over the floor. And I was like, Jen was running tumblebees at the time. I'm like, sorry, Jen. She's like, it's fine. And that was their first time in tumblebees. They were very young. But I remember going into the baby area and thinking, oh, this is why we do it this way. And I had been working in tumblebees since I started. But it really opened up my eyes, like, clear wash over top of it to say, oh, this is why we do what we do. It really is the fundamentals and the, growth of your kid.
And you probably could, you could see those changes in your child and what we were saying. This is going to build in their core, and this is going to.
What I've told parents all the time.
But you were seeing it in your own life.
Yes. And it was very cool to see that. The other thing was when they just started gymnastics last year. Well, no, I'm sorry.
Like a competitive.
From tumblebees, they moved into worker bees and then blast, and then they did mini team, and then Kenna started bronze, and then Harley wanted to be bronze, so then she lit a fire, and then they put her on bronze.
Okay.
That's how that one worked out. But Kenna competed this season with bronze, and that was a very cool experience for me as a parent, because here I don't know anything about gymnastics. I can teach you a pullover and a hip circle and tumbling and stuff, but I don't know, which is good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So I liked going to the meets and watching that. And I also like to see it as a parent of someone who's never done that sport. it helped me learn what I can do to help parents that are brand new like me understand, either not understand it more, because I don't think it's necessarily important for you to understand the sport that your child is in, but just a lot of different things in general, like communication and, how they're progressing them. It was really cool to watch. I loved being in that seat.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
So what do you tell other parents, your friend, your girls' classmates, their friends? Like when you talk about kids first, what do you tell them? Like how does it now impact your conversation with the parents? Like what can kids first do for a child?
Oh gosh, first of all, we have everything.
Right.
I mean, if your kid doesn't like cheerleading, have them try gymnastics. They don't like gymnastics, have them try ninja, aerials. I mean, there's really is something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And what's nice about Kids First is all underneath one roof, one, and two, you can try it.
Mm-hmm. I actually remember you having a conversation about Harley and just her trying to find the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Like she tried gymnastics. She's like,
thought about soccer, got her the soccer ball, sat on it, didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, so you've kind of seen the gamut, like one of your kiddos has kind of stayed in one path and then the other one's kind of tried
checked out other things.
Figuring out what she likes. They're different.
Yeah. And well, Kenna did dance and Harley did it as well. So that was nice to try something else. I can tell Kenna Harley likes to be on the stage too, but Kenna can handle a more regimented sport where Harley wants to just show up and show out. That's her. So that's why hip hop and cheer can be a struggle a little bit because, we have certain things we got to get done, girl. But in general, they're both performers. I mean, how couldn't they be?
That's exactly right.
Right. Do either of you have any questions?
You're doing great. I mean, I do want to.
Killing it.
You are killing it. I would like to. I don't know if this is going backward or forward, but why are you a 20-year employee? What has kept you here?
It's easy. That's easy. When you work in an environment where everybody's wanting you to succeed and they're letting you fail, it's okay. You're not going to get in trouble. I mean, I didn't understand that because coming from college and my upbringing, you don't want to fail. You don't want to fail. I don't want to get in trouble. That's the thing.
You were a rule follower.
Rule
follower. So coming here and Jeff saying, we want you to make mistakes and what the difference is and letting you do that without any major repercussion. I mean, he wasn't mad. I made a lot of mistakes. Some of them because I was trying new things. Other things I just didn't know what I was doing. But that is that's top tier right there. And then the people here, you just can't beat them.
It's true.
They're great. They all do want to support you. Mm-hmm. They want you to succeed and do well. Actually, above all of that, I just love working with kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love hanging out with them. I gravitate towards them naturally, and they're just hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
I just love being around them. I feel like I come to work and I play. There's other stuff that is work that I do, but for the most part,
the foundation of it is play.
I'm having a good time. I'm like a kid.
Yeah.
So, they say, if you find something that you love to do, you never work a day in your life. And I truly believe that. There's some days that I'm working, but most days I'm not.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you for sharing that. So let's wrap this up with some rapid fire questions. So first thought that comes into your mind.
Uh-oh.
You got to answer. Early riser or night owl?
I'm a night owl. The girls have made me an early riser, but I can stay up late.
What's your go-to snack?
Oh, I love getting the hummus, cucumber, and pretzel chips here.
That's a good
at the cafe
snack.
Get that one. It's good.
Mine would be chocolate, so.
mine's not super healthy.
No, so.
Good for you, Heather.
Exactly. Favorite quote or something your somebody left in your brain that always sticks with you?
I always say what's meant to be is meant to be. Like it's meant to be type of thing. So yeah.
Besides singing, what's your go-to pastime or hobby?
There's two. There's an adult one, which is I like trying different beers and going to breweries. I think that's so fun. And a good band, there's one there, that's even a plus. But the family side, I like hanging out with my family. My family and my extended family.
All right, last one. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Give me a cold brew.
Love it. I have one kind of final question to maybe wrap up. What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh my gosh. We were kind of talking about this at church. I want people to see me as someone who really, truly cares about them and funny.
That's
so
number one.
Those two things, funny and like a good heart.
And I cared about them. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny and a good heart. Like if people would say that about me, then I'd be happy.
Well, you are knocking that out of the park.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I don't think I have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, Heather, is there anything else that you want to say before we jump off of here?
Thanks for having me. This was fun. First time ever on a podcast.
Well, we truly thank you for joining us today and sharing your story, both as a Kids First employee and now as a parent. We are so lucky to have you. And we're so lucky to have you on our team. And we're so blessed by your positivity and your perseverance and just your aura.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for listening to the Small Business Bootcamp Podcast, where our goal is simple, lifetime solutions for your business solutions for your lifetime. And if you're interested in attending the next Bootcamp 73, the dates of that are November 14th through the 18th. You can find more information with that at metzgerbootcamp.com.
Until next time, stay positive and keep moving forward.